Hello, my name is Lydia Sorrels, and I'm going to be explaining the mission of the Seton Teaching Fellows program by talking about each of the pillars of community, education, and faith. So the first pillar is community. So each of the fellows are going to be placed in the community of the school at which they are teaching, and this will allow them to serve their students and their families better because love comes from knowledge, and both love and knowledge are necessary qualities of excellent teachers worthy of excellent students. And a second quality of the community pillar is that each of the fellows are devout Catholics. So each of them want nothing more than to grow in their love for Christ. And so they will be living in a community of people who have chosen to grow in their love for Christ through the Seton program. So not only will they be able to be coached by people who know how to teach and who want to help each of the fellows to know how to teach better, but they will be able to edify each other just by going home every day and having a supportive environment to talk about the experiences that they had, their failures, to rejoice in their successes, and to grow in their faith and their skill in teaching so that they will be able to take these skills after the program and serve God in whatever capacity He calls them to after the program. Now, the second pillar is education. So Seton seeks to address the lack of Catholic schools, especially in the most poor and underserved areas, which really need a Catholic presence and Catholic education. And so they do this by partnering with charter schools such as BRIA so that each of the kids can get an excellent education during the day, but it also allows parents the opportunity to send their children to a school which is going to treat their students as unities of body and soul. So the After School El Camino program is where the Catholic identity really comes into the Seton program. Because there's no point to an excellent education if the students are not also taught how to be virtuous and how to become saints, because that is the point of every endeavor on earth. And this leads into the final pillar, which is faith. So each of the fellows has to have a sincere love for Christ, otherwise they won't be able to communicate this love for Christ to their students. And so the Seton program demands the whole of you. So Seton fellows ought to be humble because they have to grow in their knowledge and in their skills in teaching, and they have to be willing to devote a year of their lives to the service of these little ones. And this is of the utmost importance, I think, because the students being taught are the future of the church. They have a destiny to become great saints and to renew the church. And so since the heart of the Seton program is the Catholic faith, this means that each of the fellows has to treat this pillar with the utmost importance and gravity, and they have to have a heart ready for service so that they can grow in their own faith and so that they can catechize their students so that they can grow closer to God through the sacraments. And now I'm going to close with a quotation from St. Paul's letter to the Romans, and this is chapter 10, and I really think that this quotation encapsulates the entire mission. So St. Paul, in his letter to the Romans, says, "How are men to call upon him in whom they have not believed? And how are they to believe in him of whom they have never heard? And how are they to hear without a preacher? And how can men preach unless they are sent? So faith comes from what is heard, and what is heard comes by the preaching of Christ." So this means that each of the fellows has to have a sincere love for Christ so that they can communicate this love to their students. And I think that that is the heart and the entire mission of the Seton Teaching Fellows program. Thank you.